Hello, good morning. Somebody has left a message. Who is Molly May Haig? And I think all questions like that are perfectly, everything is thrown into perspective by the Boris story this morning. And there is no other story. Boris faces questions at question time from Keir Starmer. Was he at that party? We know he was. There's at least two people on record who would testify that they saw him there and that his now wife had a gin. It's not was he at the party really that needs to be asked, it's how he was at the party. And it's got too late, really, for him to come clean and explain. I'm afraid now he has to come clean and grovel. And then we have to see what happens next. I don't think there's any reasonable alternative to Boris. So I think what's going to happen if Boris resigns is we're going to have a lame duck prime minister, somebody like Rishi Sunak, who is as shabby as his next door neighbour, Liz Truss, who simply is is unfit for the job, I think, frankly. And her posturing about Mr. Putin and her posturing about Europe is simply posturing. She doesn't have the confidence really to be an effective foreign secretary, in my opinion. And I don't see that A, she's been fully tested, and B, that she's come up to the mark anyway. I don't think there's anybody in waiting ready to be Prime Minister in the Conservative Party. I don't think there's anybody ready to be Prime Minister in the Labour Party yet. I think Keir Starmer would be a very interesting Prime Minister, but I don't think there's a cabinet waiting in the Labour Party. So should Boris resign, and who would replace him? That really is the interesting question. And look at the silence of his ministers today. His whole cabinet could stand up and defend him, and nobody is doing so. Even Ruth Davidson from Scotland, who's now in the House of Lords, has castigated him. She's not defending the Prime Minister, and nor is anybody else. Sue Gray, this lady who is mounting an investigation, she's led investigations in the past which have led to senior ministers' resignations, people like Liam Fox. The problem is that she would present her report to the Prime Minister of the day, and the Prime Minister would then request the minister to resign or wait on the minister's honour, and we'd see what would happen. In this case, the person she's investigating is the Prime Minister. I don't know whether there is precedent for this. What happens when the Prime Minister gets a report about himself? The opponents are bad. And then when we look around at the public mood is bad. The public have followed the rules. The Prime Minister has not. And the Prime Minister, more than that, not only has he not followed the rules himself, but he's run around the place saying, we have followed the rules. He has lied. That makes it even worse. And at the same time, we've got the story about Djokovic, who turns out to have lied as well. He admitted today to having travelled and having had an interview after having tested positive. One rule for them, another for us, it seems. And yet, in that us is the Queen. Think of her sitting on her own at Prince Philip's funeral. She is one of us. I think that speaks very loudly, and I think it will be an image which is likely to be printed on the front pages of newspapers in the next few days. The Queen on her own while Boris was having a party. It's not good news, but I don't see what the alternatives are. We may be thrust into an alternative world, It's not one I want to enter, frankly. Anyway, please do follow the channel and please leave your comments and ring the bell. Thank you.